Today's episode is inspired from my Self-Care Society class titled Existing with Real Radiance. And our quote comes from Danielle Laporte, and she says, "Consider that you radiate at all times. Consider that what you're feeling right now is rippling outward into a field of isness that anyone can dip their oar into. You are felt, you are heard, you are seen. If you were not here, the world would be different. Because of your presence, the universe is expanding." I mean, like, who doesn't want to start their day in that vibration? Radiance. What does radiance mean? Sending out light, shining, or glowing brightly, clearly emanating great joy, love, or health. I mean, I can get down with that, and I'm sure you can too. So let's do a pause and practice as we get into our session today, which essentially just means you're pretending you're an actor or an actress, right? And it is your job to carry your character with a sense of radiance. Okay. So what does it feel like in your body to just be radiant? What do you imagine? For me, there's like a warmth to it. Just like a glowing, a confidence, a willingness to be seen, a magnetism, like a contagious magnetism. So just notice it in your body, notice it in your nervous system. What do you feel when you are radiant? When you try that feeling on, okay? And bring it with you through this exercise, through your day, through your life, as long as you can hang on to it, all right? So radiance, I mean, like this is, I don't know, this word to me and the definition is just everything that I want to get on board with. Now, I'm actually 35 weeks pregnant right now as I record this episode prior to my maternity leave. But by the time you're seeing it, my youngest daughter will be a few months old. So I am certainly doing my best to soak up my pregnancy glow right now, because in reality, I am probably feeling very tired and anything but radiant at the point that this is airing. Okay. So that being said, I do believe we can find our radiance in any given moment when we find it in ourselves to realize that it's not about our physical appearance. And it isn't our physical appearance from which radiance comes, but instead the energy with which we carry ourselves. And I'm reminded of a story from when I was in my early 20s. I was still really obsessed with weight loss and this belief that as a person, I was significantly better the thinner I was. And I remembered so specifically like two contrasting moments, days apart, that really speak to the way that radiance exists internally. Okay. So I was always on some diet. And I had gone out with friends one night and I just wasn't feeling great about myself. I felt like guys weren't interested in me and that I just like went home feeling pretty down. And so a couple of days later, after I had spent some time restricting my food and I felt slightly thinner, like literally a couple of days later, I'd weighed myself and I think the scale read 2 or 3 pounds, which probably had nothing to do with that. And it's natural body fluctuation, right? So, but I'm 2 or 3 pounds lighter than the days before. Okay. I had put so much value in my weight and appearance at that time in my life. So I really let this weight loss dictate my mood powerfully. So again, I'm like, I got dressed up. I'm going to go out with friends. And I was feeling really confident and attractive. And I remember I was doing circles around the bar and I just felt like magnetic. I felt like all eyes were on me and that I was just truly radiant. And do you think I actually looked any different than I did days before? No, the answer is no. And the deeper answer is that my radiance had nothing to do with my physical appearance in the first place. I wasn't wrong that I was getting more attention, but it was because I was the attention I was getting was because I was standing tall. I was feeling beautiful. I was putting out a magnetic and an inviting energy. I was making eye contact and I was shining my light. Okay. It was not because I lost 2 pounds from 3 days ago. Right? It was my inner light. It was the energy I showed up with. And we all have this superpower within us at all times. Our radiance is there. We just have to choose to believe it, despite our often well-conditioned beliefs about it being attached to our physical body. So your radiance is the way that you show your joy and your truth and your most authentic self to the world without fear of how they might receive you. It's you in your happiest life. It's you expressing your gifts and your talents and not caring what anyone else thinks about it. Okay. So I will keep that in mind as I'm in this postpartum phase when this episode is airing and probably very tired, and just remind myself that that's not what it's about. It's about how I show up and how I carry myself. So I've got 3 tips for you on how to feel more radiant. And these are things that have really helped me. The first is stripping. Okay. Not that kind of stripping, but to each their own. I mean, stripping away the things that dull our shine. This could be some of the people you surround yourself in who are making you feel less than. It could be the fact that, or the act of, not speaking your truth or communicating your needs. It could be layers of makeup or clothing or hair that you use to hide yourself. Whatever you might be doing that is concealing who you truly are is keeping you from your radiance. The second thing, of course, your health does play a role in your radiance. But I don't just mean this from a strictly physical angle. I mean, when we are rested, when our mental health is nurtured, when we get out in nature, and of course, when our physical health is good, we shine. And baby steps matter. So see if you might take one today, even just one little step. The third is to embody your radiant icon, okay? Is there someone you follow or know of or witness who defines radiance for you? When you think of radiance, you think of them. And I want you to think of that person, and I want you to imagine that you're an actor or an actress playing that role, playing them as a character. Can you walk like them? Can you talk like them? Can you care for yourself like they would? Can you feel into what it feels like energetically, even if just for a moment, to carry yourself in this way? Now, by no means am I saying to be who you aren't, okay? But in order to radiate authentically, you need to know how it feels in your body from an energetic perspective, okay? So starting with some inspiration does help. I want you to feel that feeling first and live as if, as often as you can, and you will watch the world around you catch up. All right, let's practice feeling more radiant together with some exercises straight from Self-Care Society classes. As always, we'll pause to give you more time or give you a moment to think, but feel free if you need more time to stop the session and take whatever time you need. You're also going to hear inspiring examples from our live classes too, and you can join us for a full schedule of live and on-demand classes at selfcaresociety.co. Okay, so our first exercise is called a vision of radiance. When you think about feeling fully radiant, what comes to mind? What would a most radiant life look like for you? So my example, radiance to me is a sense of vibrant glowing. First and foremost, I do think of health. I think of glowing skin, gorgeous energy. I see big green juices and lots of time in nature, little to no makeup, flowy organic clothing, being barefoot. I see a bright smile and a genuine confidence. I see the type of person who doesn't need to be loud to be noticed or valuable. Okay, so what does that mean to you? Like when you think about radiance and yourself or just in general, what comes up for you? Angie says, radiance to me is an inner joy that is visible to others. It's a joy that can't be altered, but rather alters the situations it's in. Radiance feels free and light and happy. Galena says, radiance to me is a state of infectiousness, letting my energy shine on those who surround me, embracing the world. It is my expression of my truest self in the way I would like to impact the world. Wow. Yes. Yes. How inspiring is that? So our next exercise is a gratitude exercise called Thanks to My Radiance Supporters. Okay, so now you're going to think of some of the things that contribute to your radiance and you're going to write gratitude for them. Okay, so for example, thank you for all the nourishing food I have in my fridge and in my garden that I get to fuel myself with. Thank you for a comfortable bed, blackout curtains, air conditioning, and heat that allows me to get beautiful rest. So what are those things for you? And can you express a little bit of gratitude for the things that help you stay your most radiant self? Jess says, thank you for the fresh water that keeps my body healthy and functioning. Thank you for the sunshine and the flowers and the birds that bring me joy. Annie says, thank you for the ability to move my body and to see its capabilities, particularly through pregnancy and this year's strength journey. Shelby says, I am grateful for light, and I love the beautiful colors that light creates. Wow. So our next exercise is one of intentionality called Radiant Today. And I want you to make a list of whatever micro actions you might take today that would contribute to a feeling of radiance, okay? And then if you want, you can go back and write a time next to each of them that represents an estimate of when you might actually be able to fit this into your schedule today. And that just helps us kind of bridge the gap between here's what I could do and here's when I'm going to do it. All right. So for example, I might put mascara on at 6 a.m. I might put my face in the sunshine at 7:15. I might make a green juice at 11 a.m. I might choose to be in a photo with my daughter in the morning. I might put some cream on my skin. Like whatever it is for you to feel radiant, what could you do today? Even one or two things. And when are you going to do it? Because let's not waste our time here. Let's integrate, my friends. All right. What's it going to be for you? Lauren says 5 minutes of Peloton and stretch before 8 a.m. Mackenzie says 8:30 a.m. I'm going to sky gaze and cloud gaze on the ferry. Stephanie says at 12:30 p.m. I'm going to take a break in the sunshine. Woo! All great ones. So for our affirmation exercise, it is called I Am Radiant. And I want you to write yourself an affirmation or think of an affirmation statement all about your own radiance to remind you today and always of how to show up and shine your brightest. Okay, so my example, I am glowing and radiant in every way. My energy is contagious. It is pure and calm and kind. I am healthy in every cell of my body. I am nourished in every sense. Right? So what is your radiant statement for yourself? What do you want to remember as you step into your most radiant self today? Carrie says, I radiate love and acceptance to everyone, knowing that it is always absorbed back into my own radiance. Lori says, I am glowing and radiant and feel hopeful and calm. I protect my boundaries as I recognize the humanity in others. Thea says, I choose radiance even when I feel like my light has been snuffed out. I let the little tendril of smoke reignite my glow, and I bask in my own joy and pleasure. Wow. All right, my friends, for our final exercise, we're going to do a manifestation exercise called Isn't She, He, They Lovely? Okay, so I want you to imagine that you are a stranger who is at a party with you, and this stranger is witnessing you in all your radiance, and they're describing what it feels like to be in your presence. What might they say? All right, so for my example, she just arrived and I knew who she was the second she came in. I've heard people describe her as radiant before, but you really had to see it to realize how powerful it was. She smiles wide and walks with confidence. She has a kindness that makes everyone feel important. Okay, so can you imagine someone witnessing you in your radiance? And what would you want them to say? Okay, and now we have some shares from Shelby and Carrie.
So she walked in the door and her smile felt like sunshine. She may be shorter than I imagined her to be, but her presence and radiance is far greater than she can even begin to imagine. She's grounded and present, and her light, laughter, and energy is contagious. You can't help but laugh and smile when you're around her. She brings out the best in every person she comes in contact with. She's so busy looking for what's interesting about the people around her that you can't help but be fascinated with yourself and your story. She has no idea the energy she radiates and how healing it is to everyone in her presence. She is in love with life, and it makes you want to love your life even more, too.
Wow, Carrie looks so confident and beautiful in her gray hair and infectious smile. I admire how she really seeks connection with everyone she talks to. Her joy on the dance floor is infectious. You believe her heartfelt compliments, and you are just a little more radiant yourself after interactions with her.
Thank you so much, Shelby and Carrie. All right, friends, as you go out into your day, I wish for you to be your most radiant self and to trust that finding this version of you is simply an act of being true to who you really are. The most authentic you shines the brightest and gives everyone else permission to do the same. And we certainly need more of that in our world. Thank you for joining me today on your morning mindset practice. I hope you're feeling more radiant, and I'd love to have you join us at selfcaresociety.co for a live or on-demand class so you can stay consistent with your self-care, connect with other like-minded people, and continue filling your cup so you can overflow onto the world. We need you. I'll see you next time.